Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping onto the class today. So once again, today's class is going to be over Canva 201. So I am currently about to sign in my Canva account. So what you'll want to do first and foremost, all right, is to go through and go to canva.kw.com. Now, if you've taken the 101 class, which hopefully y'all have, you've already signed in, you've already gotten everything rocking and rolling on here. But once you go to canva.kw.com, you can then sign in immediately. All right, so I'm going to sign in real quick so we can access this right away. Here we go. Perfect. All right, and it may potentially ask you for that code as well, too. Looks like mine's just going to sign me directly in, so this is perfect on here. All right, and once we're under canva.kw.com, before we get started on everything, let's just go ahead and talk about a couple things that we're seeing on here to kind of have a refresher from that Canva 101 class. So first and foremost, just before we get into everything, this is your Canva homepage. So when you start to utilize Canva, anything and everything that you're taking advantage of or anything that you may have utilized previously is going to start to pop up on here. You can see in our recents section, or we can come on here, we can start to search by certain items that we might be looking for, depending on what we may want to utilize. All right, so that's all going to be accessible. And as we scroll down, once again, we can see it all in order on here. So I'm currently looking at my recent ones. It's showing any owner on here. It's showing any design. And then once again, I can view this as a list, or I can even sort this either alphabetically from A to Z, Z to A, or by last activity, which is what I'm doing right now. All right. So the next thing we're going to have on here on the left-hand side is that project section. So this is where you can actually go through and view any of your projects that you're currently utilizing and taking advantage of. So in this case, any folder that you may have created or anything that might be accessible on here, that's all going to be available for you to utilize right away. All right, so if you want to create a folder that you can then use moving forward to then, geez, add inside additional pieces, any other additional items that you may be making on here, you can click that plus sign at the top right, so that way you can organize everything a little bit easier. Or once again, whenever you are under your folders, you can always click the star icon. So as you can see under my documents on here, I have the star icon selected. So that way this is going to pop up near the top for me each time to be able to view right away. All right, so think of this as like a document folder on your desktop, laptop for you to house everything right away. Now, below projects, we're then going to have templates. So with the Canva Enterprise account, you're going to have access to all the different pro template options that you can utilize. All right, so first and foremost, if you see anything with this little crown icon on here, you now have access to that. All right, so if you previously just had the free Canva account, you would not have had access to this crown version on here, but now that you have the enterprise version, you can use this immediately. All right, and once again, you can then go through and start to search on here by specific categories. If you want to search by flyers, email signatures, documents, logos, Facebook posts, calendars, cards, the list goes on and on, as you can see on here. All right, and beyond that, if there are certain ones that you want to utilize as well too, like maybe you're going through and saying, hey, I really want to utilize specific ones for social media each time, and I'm a big fan of this, agency brand guideline set. Or I really like this little reel on here because I love the video option that's accessible. All right, then you can go through, and once you select this, you can also star this. So once again, anytime you star anything, it's going to show up for you under your starred sections. So that way you can start to save this right away to have in your own little folder that you can utilize at any time. All right. Now, outside of the templates on Canva, this is going to give you access to every template possible. You can also search by all the photo options that are available on here. So that way, if you want to explore, if you can see, there's 69 million photos that are available for you to utilize on here, or you can generate your own through the Canva AI. All right, so that's all accessible. So a lot of different stock photo options that are accessible to use on here. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up of that, along with some additional graphics that you can use. All right, typically more just graphic cartoon-esque type options that you can go through and search for, depending on what you might be looking for to add on to your Canva pieces. All right, you can also search by other creators on here as well, too, to see what they might be designing. All right, and then, of course, once again, any of your starred content. Now, the next big thing we have on here is obviously the brand section. So this is where we spent most of our Canva 101 class talking about how to actually go through and create a flyer on here for our listings. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are still going to focus on listings, but we're going to do a couple pieces in this case. The first one we're just going to do another listing. Instead of doing it as a flyer, we're going to do it as a postcard and then show you how you can upload that over to Command as well too if you want to send that out. But then on top of it, we're also going to do some other reels as well too. And then we're going to talk about some other Canva templates and items on here as well. All right, but this way you can go through and view all the different KW specific templates that KW and Canva have curated for you to use directly. So once again, if you're looking for specific items like on here, maybe you're looking for an email signature, maybe you're looking for an Instagram post, maybe you're looking for business cards, all right, whatever it might be, there'll be plenty of different options accessible on here. All right, and that'll all be accessible for you to use. And then, of course, you also happen to have your Canva AI section. So this is once again where you can go through and in the AI section, if you want to create an image on here, all right, so maybe I'm doing something for Halloween, for instance. So I might want to go through and say, create a home for Halloween that invites trick-or-treaters to come to the front door. Make it a little scary, but not too much. All right, so that way I can actually start to create some of these different image options on here. So if you've utilized Gemini Pro from your KW.com email, very similar. And now I can go through and I can actually see, hey, here's some of the additional pieces that were just created for me. So I can then start to utilize this as well, whether I want to download this or whether I want to go through and edit this even further if I want to. All right. And that's just on the image side. So I just started with the image one on here. So if I go back to Canva AI, for instance, I can also create designs on here. I can create videos, and you're allowed to create up to 5 AI videos per month. I can write out specific stuff. All right. So this is all accessible for you to use. And then, of course, finally on here, under the More section, you're going to have the Apps option, Content Planner, and Design School. Now, I love highlighting the apps section because this is where you can go through and add inside any additional applications that you want to, or apps that you want to add on to your Canva platform for you to be able to utilize this even further. So it'll show you some of the trending apps that are on here. All right, so if you want to add inside like Tenor, for instance, for GIFs for your design. All right, if you want to add inside Vimeo access, you can also add inside YouTube access. All right, now this is also where, once again, you want to make sure you have the Keller Williams app already installed. So this is what we talked about in the first class, where we made sure that we had the Keller Williams app added in. All right, or some fun ones that you might want to add in as well too. If you ever want to try to update your headshot, the AI headshot maker is always a fun one to take a look at on there. All right, so a couple different options you might want to add, or on here, communication. All right, this is where you can add inside your Facebook photos to your designs. You can preview and publish carousels, reels, and stories on Instagram. We can link up LinkedIn ads. We can access Google Drive. So once again, this is all underneath that app section for you to add inside any that you want to. All right, and after this, inside the description of the video, I'm going to include some of the apps that we use personally over here. Obviously, one of the biggest ones I would highly suggest starting with from the get-go is going through and accessing any type of QR code generator, because you might start utilizing that, significantly on all these different listing pieces. So it's always great to go through and access that as well too. All right. But that's just a quick little overview of what we talked about in our first class, and then talking about the apps a little bit further on here as well too. All right, so to add inside that KW app, just make sure that when you go to the app section, so under More, you can go to Apps. Make sure you search for Keller Williams, and then you'll want to make sure that you sign into it. So when you search for Keller Williams, you can add this in and then sign in with your login and password for Command to give you access to that immediately. All right, so it'll all be accessible on here to take advantage of. All right, so let's go back over to the brand section now. So let's go back on here and let's make some additional pieces on here that we have not made quite yet. All right, so in the first class, if y'all had taken that Canva 101 last week, or, geez, about a month or so ago, we did a bunch of these classes. we primarily did one on the modular just listed flyer. So we've already done the just listed flyer on here. So let's go to something a little bit different. All right, so it's going to be the same, the same way of kind of adjusting everything, but let's do something just, a little bit out of the ordinary instead of a flyer on here. So I'm going to go through, and once again, you can edit whatever you'd like to. You don't have to do the exact same one, but I'm just going to do this classic for sale postcard on here. So I'm going to start with this one real quick. All right, so I'm going to click on this classic for sale postcard because I want to show you all how you can actually make this piece. Once again, not only are we going to make it, but then we're also going to show you how you can download it, how you can share it, how you can make it into a template, and then also how you can upload it over to command if you do want to do any outbound mailers. So we're not going to go through the full process of sending it out, but I do want to show you where that's going to be accessible. So I'm going to click on this classic for sale postcard. Once again, you can use any postcard you want to. If you don't want to use the KW one, you can also go through templates and find one as well too. And I'm going to click this, use this brand template on here. All right, so I'm going to use this brand template real quick. All right, and once we do that, now we've got the front and the back ready to go, all right, for our postcard on here. All right, so I'm just using a very simple one right now, just so we can add something in real quick. But once we view this, if you have that KW app on here, all right, if you have the KW app all ready to go, then on the left-hand side, under all of your editing tools, all right, you can now click on that Keller Williams app. And this will allow you to then go through. And if you are not already synced with your app, it'll ask you to sign in so you can sync that right away. All right, so that way you can sync up with your command platform. All right, but if you are like I am, then it's automatically going to pull this in for you right away. All right, and make sure that you're signing in with your command login and password under this app section on here. All right, and that'll give you access to that immediately to take advantage of. Now, if you have any listings, this is where your listings should populate for you if there are any inside the KWLS. All right, if not, you can always search under all listings on here to view, well, all listings that are accessible. All right, or you can also go through and search by the MLS on here as well, too. All right, so if I want to go through and search by the MLS on here, I can click on the search by MLS and search by the MLS number. Now, to keep it simple, I'm just going to use this first listing that's popping up on here. All right, so I'm just going to use this first one on here just as an example to get this rocking and rolling. And since I'm just doing a postcard on here, and it's a very simplistic postcard, it doesn't have much information. And the reason I want to bring that up is you don't have to leave this as is. You can go through and tweak this and make it your own. Because if you notice on the left-hand side, there are all these other items that you can add in. So if you don't like the fact that this background is white, for instance, and maybe you want to say, hey, I want to add inside a black background on here, well, I can click on this little square option under shapes, and I can drag this over, and I can change this color on here and say, hey, let's make it black. And then not only do I want to make it black, but let's position this to the back. So that way I can pull everything back up. And if you notice on here, well, that color is not going to work because it's in black. So then I can go through and say, hey, well, let's make this text color white. And for this one, I want to make this white as well, too. So that way I can see it a little bit better. So even if you want to change something as simple as that, you can go through and add inside other shapes or items to adjust this immediately and position it wherever you prefer. All right, so that's just a very simple add-on that we can do right away. Or once again, if I want to add inside more text, I can click on this text option. And here are all the items I can add in. I can add inside from my core brand kit, a heading, subheading, body. I can add inside different dynamic text on here, or here are all the additional fonts that I have available. And once again, you're going to have access to everything on here. All right, even if you see that little crown icon, you're going to have access to that immediately. All right, so in order to get back to the listing, though, I'm going to click on the Keller Williams app, And just a reminder for those that just signed in, if you have not accessed the app or added that over to your Canva account, make sure under apps, you search for Keller Williams, download it, and then sign in with your command account. I'm going to drag over this picture on here real quick. And once I drag that over with my left mouse button, I can now see that it's going to replace the one that I had on here before. So as you can see, Keller Williams has successfully uploaded the media to your library. So I now have this over on my postcard that I want to use. And if I go to the next page, well, this postcard that I chose just has, one image on here. And once again, that does not mean we have to leave it as is. I could literally go through here and say, hey, I'm not a big fan of how this is. I want to add inside multiple images. And I can go through and change this. All right. I can drag it from the side if I want to. I can say, hey, let's add inside this one up here. If I want to do something funky, I can copy it. I can paste it. So I did Control C and Control V. And I can make another image on here, or I can always right click on it and duplicate it. All right, so completely up to you in this case if you want to start to adjust this even further. So I'm going to go back real quick. There's always the undo button up here, so nothing is ever set in stone. I always love to highlight that. All right, but now I've got for sale on here, and then under my details, I can add inside the address. So I can come over here and say, hey, well, here's the address. Let's change this on here. I want to adjust that a little bit to make it even easier to see. And maybe I want to make this a little bit bigger, bigger than 10. Maybe let's make it 15 or so. And for sale, maybe I want to make that a little bit larger on here too. And maybe I also want to include, in this case, the price that it's for sale for. So I'm going to put 212,000. And let's move that over so we can get it all on here. All right, so now I can make that immediately if I'd like. So just a few minor changes that I wanted to do on here, nothing massive. I just added in a black background, added inside for sale, made it larger. Well, for sale was already there, but made it larger, added inside 212,000, changed out, obviously, the address on here. So our first page of the postcard's done. But now if I go to the back on here, well, obviously I want to add inside my information. So I can easily just go inside and add in my info if I want to. So I can come inside on here and right where it says listing agent. Maybe I want to change that from listing agent. And I want to add inside my information on here. All right, whatever it might be that you want to do. And obviously, whatever your specific MLS or state requirements are, make sure you follow those. All right, so anything that you need for marketing on here. If the name has to be a certain size in comparison to your logo, all right? If you need to add inside your license number, if you need to add inside other items as well, make sure that is added in. All right, so for instance, if you then need to go through and you want to find your info, you can always go back to the profile section under Keller Williams. And under profiles, right, I can then go through and say, hey, here's my profile on here. Well, now I want to add over my information one at a time. Or if I have my headshot on there, I can then add this in right away as well too. So that way it'll automatically pull up from your marketing profile for you to access immediately. All right, so let's just make it a little bit simpler for you to add inside. And the other big item I want to highlight, outside of just seeing the listings in your marketing profile where you can adjust that, in the first class that we taught last week, we also talked about how under your uploads, you can then also go through and create folders. So by making those folders, you can add inside other headshots you might utilize, maybe other agents that you might be working with as well too, other third parties, maybe it's a mortgage company, a lender, title company that you're consistently doing open houses with or events with, whatever it might be. Well, that way you can drag this over and find this pretty quickly. All right, and once again, under that upload section, you can start to upload any of those files that you want to. All right, so that way you can add that from your desktop, your laptop, your tablet, whatever you might be working on. All right, and then of course you can create that folder immediately to keep everything a little bit more neatly organized as well too. And then of course, once again, under that Keller Williams section on here, if we then want to change out our logo, I always have an issue trying to get the DBA logos to change. That's okay. I can always click on this and click the delete key on my keyboard. And then I can add inside my logo. Now, once again, just a reminder, make sure that the logo size, especially since we're talking about print marketing on here today, well, just marketing in general, but specifically on print marketing, because once you order it, there's not a way to stop that. Right? In comparison to having something, on Facebook or Instagram where you can delete it and re-upload it pretty quickly. On this one, once you order it, that order may have gone through. So if there's a specific size that you need the logo to be in comparison to your name, for instance, make sure you're following all those specifications. But we can add inside our logo on here. And then if I want to, under the brand section on the left-hand side, just a reminder, under brand on the left-hand side, this is going to show your KW brand. So this way you can view your core brand kit. All right, you can view the luxury kit or you can view the commercial kit. Those are the three that are available for you. But under the core brand kit, I can view all the logos on here, whether they're just general logos. But the big one you might want to take advantage of is this equal housing opportunity logo as well, too. All right, so if I click on this equal housing opportunity one, it'll automatically add this over. And I might want to make sure that that is included on here. So maybe I want to move this over. So I'll click on this and drag it to the left. And if you notice, whenever you start to drag stuff, you'll see numbers that'll pop up. As you can see, 0.146, 0.146, showing distances on there. You'll also start to see, hey, this is lining up inside a specific area. All right, and I can come over and add this as well, too. All right, and if you do want to add inside a new logo, for instance, just a reminder, under the Keller Williams app, this information is going to pull from your marketing profile on your Command account. But if you do want to add inside a different logo, for instance, under uploads, you can always click this upload file option to upload any logo from your desktop, laptop, tablet, whatever device you might be utilizing right now. And I would highly, highly, highly suggest making a folder on here to keep this neatly organized for you to access later on. So that way you can pull this up very quickly. So as you can see, I've got some on here, one labeled KW logos, one labeled SLM collateral, one labeled headshots, just so I can find this quickly to pull this over. All right, so whenever I'm making new pieces, I can get this updated right away. All right, so on technicality, I could actually be done with this piece on here. It wasn't anything too crazy. I could actually say, hey, I'm done with this. We're good to go. All right. Or I can also come back on here and say, hey, add inside a little bit of a filter on here. I like that. All right. Or I can also come back on here and say, hey, I want to add inside some other adjustable items as well, too. So like if I want to go through and say, hey, this is great that we have this image on here, but there's a couple things I want to tweak on it. But once I select this, up at the top, you can see you've got the background remover. So if you ever need to make something transparent, you're definitely more than welcome to. Or I can click on this edit item as well, too. And if I click on edit, then I can go through, I can view a couple different filters if I want to. So if I want to change this to a different style of color on here, I can go through and adjust this. I go back to none. I can go through, once again, we have that background remover automatically on here. I can utilize the background generator. If I have just maybe one person I want to create a background, I can. I can use the magic eraser. So if there's something on here, like maybe I want to go through and try to see if I can erase this little, it looks like a hose over here. You can see if I can try to erase that real quick. All right, now that hose is gone. All right, and people might not even notice it on there. So if I want to clean up this page on here, I'm definitely more than welcome to. And once again, I can click this, undo option. And there we go. Now it's back up here. And once again, I can change that brush size on here. I can even try auto detect if I want to. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm not going to. All right. Or I can say, hey, this is what I want to do. Do I want to click on this? Do I want to do it in the foreground? So if I select click, now I can actually come up on here and I can select it. And now it's got this selected for me of what I want to remove. And I can erase that right away. All right, so some simple items on here just to make it a little bit easier. All right, so that's all available. That doesn't look as good though, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go back on this one. Kind of like the brush one that we had a little bit better. There we go. A little bit larger on that one this time, but that one looks a little bit better for me. Or down here, got this logo. Now, obviously, hopefully they do not have branded logos on here. But if you want to try and remove that, just notice that real quick. There we go. So now I've got this updated. All right, so once that's done, I can click back out of this, or I can X out of this as well too. And now we've got this adjusted, ready to go. All right, so a fun little option that you can do on here just from the edit section. And that's just a few of them. Obviously, we can keep going on. There's magic grab on here. You can grab text. You can edit it. All right, there's a lot of different fun stuff on here. We can try to expand it as well too. There are other apps you can add on. There are other effects you can add on as well too. All right, so completely up to you. But I'm going to stop with this one because I could spend a lot of time just going on this. And at the top right, all right, once we click on the share option, all right, under share, we can then come on here and we can either specify who we want to share this with. If we want to share it with other team members, we can copy this link. And right now, only we can access it. But if we want to make it where any of the KW agents can access it or anyone with a link can access it without having to sign in, we can make it that way. We can even make a public link. Or one thing that I may suggest taking advantage of if you happen to be on a team or maybe you're working with another agent and you want to make a piece that they can then go through and add inside their own information, you can also make a template link on here now. And once again, that template link is only available for pro or enterprise customers. So if I click this create template link, I can now share this with anyone on my team. And when they click on it, it's going to take them to Canva where they're going to make a template version of this, like a duplicate copy, basically. So that way they have their own variation of this one already done, ready to go, and they can put inside their info. All right, so that'll all be accessible. And as you can see, we now have the live link. Now, I talked about this in the very beginning where I said we're now going to download this and then go over to command. I just want to show you where you can add this inside. But with that being said on here, you can also print with Canva directly. So if I want to print with Canva on here, well, it can actually tell me, here are the different items that I can print on Canva if I'd prefer to go this route. All right, so there's a bunch of different things that you can actually print on here. So in this case, let me see if postcards will pop up. Yep, postcards, landscape. We can do this right away, or jumbo postcards. All right, so as you can see, I can go through and I can start to actually create the printing on here of what this will look like. All right, or if you want to do this through command directly, all right, then under share, I can click the download option. And when I download this, I'm going to download this as PDF print. All right, you can also add crop marks and bleed if you're going to trim this after printing. All right, you can flatten this as well on here. So convert the design into a single image per page. All right, or we can even include notes. So in this case, I'm going to do PDF print. Leave this as is, and then I can download this right away. All right, so a question came in. Herbie can do business cards here. Is that right? That is correct. So not only do you have business card options under the brand section, but you can also search under templates for any of the KW or any of the Canva templates that you might want to find for business cards on here as well too. All right, and there's not a virtual business card that I've seen on here quite yet. We'll take a look at that though. Normally for virtual business cards, I typically suggest something like, geez, Instacart is a great option for that, or Blink's another great option as well too. All right, that'll all be accessible. And I did see one question came on here. I apologize. Is there a way to add your KW logo or an existing one? I know we talked about that one. Then can you change the colors of KW? So under that brand kit, unfortunately, there is not a way to change the brand kit on there, but you can add inside some of your own uploads on here to make folders to kind of adjust that, but you can't change the brand kit quite yet. All right, but once again, let me go through. I'm going to share this real quick on here. So let's download this. Once again, we're going to do PDF print. All right, and we can either do all pages on here if we want to do both. All right, so I'm going to do both. I need to double check on here if we can upload both on there. We're going to find this one out. I haven't done that in quite some time. All right, but I'm going to save this. Great. All right, and then I can go back over to agent.kw.com to sign in my command account. All right, and to remove that hose one more time, what we did was we clicked on the image on here, selected edit, and then that was under our magic eraser that we went through, and we selected the hose to remove that. And we also selected the logo down here to remove that as well too. All right, but once again, we'll then want to sign into our command account on here. All right, and more likely it's going to ask you for a code unless you're automatically signed in right away. If you are, fantastic. If not, no worries. All right, and once we're under here, all right, then on the left-hand side, we can go over to our campaigns. And this is where we can actually take that create campaign option at the top right, or we can select on direct mail as well too to upload this immediately. All right, so you can do create campaign and then utilize direct mail on here to add this in. So I could then say, hey, this is my postcard mail out. And let me see who this was for. I'm going to take this and I'm going to change the name on here too to make it easier to find. This way we can adjust this later on. All right, and then in this case, I can say, hey, I want to advertise listing, or maybe I'm just going to put other on here. I can create that campaign, and then this way I can go through and I can upload a custom template on here. It'll give me all the specifications, and then, yep, I thought this was going to happen. We need to upload by the front and the back, so I can actually go through, save this over here under share, click download. And then for this one, since I'm going to download this as a PDF print, I'm going to download page 1. Download this right away. There we go. All right, and then I can upload this over here as well. All right, so that's all I want to do is then click the front and back to upload that immediately, or I'd want to download the front and back. All right, and that way I can actually then configure targeting and send this out immediately. Now, I don't want to get too far into the postcard side on here, so I just want to show you where to go, because I do want to get back over on here. Okay, so a question came over, does the Canva document upload automatically into Command? So in this case, it does not. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to download this under the share section by clicking the download button and then go to Command to upload that directly. So if you want to take any of these pieces, like this postcard, for instance, and then go over to Command to actually send it out on the targeting side through the campaign section, you have to do that manually. Or if you want to, download a piece that you've created on here and you want to email it out as a smart plan or an email campaign, you'd once again have to click that download button under share and then upload that into Command. So it will be a two-step process on there to do that. All right. All right, so let's go back. Let's do another piece on here real quick. But if I then go back over to home, once again, you should be able to see this under the recent section. And I changed the name on here so I can access that a little bit quicker. If I want to go through and star this, I can access that even faster moving forward. Or if I go under projects, maybe I want to add this over into my documents, for instance, so I can either take this and drag it over, as you can see. I'm going to add that inside. All right, or I can always click these little 3 dots. And then I can move this as well too. So a bunch of different opportunities of how I can actually move this around. So maybe I want to move this over to my documents. Move this here. So now if I go to documents, if you notice, it now says 6 items on here. So I can access that a little bit quicker. All right, so organization is always a great item on here. All right, but let's go back to the brand section one more time. So during the first Canva 101 class, we did a flyer. During this one, we just did a postcard real quick and showed you where you can actually access everything to upload it over on command as well too. All right, but this time I'm going to go through. All right, and for this one, I want to do an Instagram story. All right, so I'm going to click on up here at the top. We have it by folder, owner. We have it by the different category and then date modified. And I'm going to do an Instagram story for this one. All right. And for this one, I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a different one. I'm going to do this client testimonial one real quick. Okay. And for the document folder, just a heads up, under the project section, you got to click that add new option at the top right. This is one that I created on my own in the first version of this class. So make sure you click that add new and you can create your own folders on there right away. All right, but I'm going to do this testimonial one real quick. Sorry, so we've already done, a bunch of different, I shouldn't say a bunch, but we've already done some different ones on listings. So let's do something a little bit different this time. So I'm going to click on white, box client testimonial. All right. And then if you ever see this information on here where it says lorem ipsum dolor, that is just filler Latin on here, basically. All right, so just to give you a heads up, if you ever see that on here, that means that you need to go through and change that. So I can say, let's use this brand template on here. And now I can add inside my own information on this. And as you can see, this is about a 5-second one on here. So this is great. It's not really doing much. It's literally just going to play this and that's it. We're not changing anything. Now, if it is a reel, and we'll talk about this one in a second, we're going to go back to a non-KW specific one. But if it is a reel where you're actually going to have some stuff that'll come in and whatnot, we can talk about that in a second as well, too. So on this one, I might want to say SLM was extremely helpful in the process of selling my property. I would highly recommend them for anyone looking for a high quality experience. 5 stars. All right. And then I can change the name on here as well. And instead of John Doe, let's say this was John Smith. All right. I can then add inside my logo on here. I can adjust anything. But if we're making a reel, for instance, you might notice, hey, there's an option for effects on here. So we can add inside some effects if we want to. If we want to add inside some different styles, if we want to add inside some different shapes on here, we can animate this as well too. If you want to do the old school typewriter one on here, thank you. I appreciate the great plug. If you want to do the old school typewriter one, that reminds me so much of PowerPoint. You can do the ascend option on here. We can do a shift option as well too. All right, we can animate it based on enter. We can animate it based on both, on exit. All right, we can change the writing style on here where it can be by characters, by words, by line. All right, so completely up to you. I'm just going to use it by words, and we can also change the direction on here. There's a lot of different things we can do just to kind of animate this a little bit more. All right, you can even change the speed. If this is going too fast, all right, we can slow it down a little bit. If it's not going fast enough, we can adjust it. All right, completely up to you in this case. All right. All right, so there's all types of different options that you can do on here, whether it's going just based on the text, whether it's going based on how you want it to actually display. All right, all this will be accessible. I always love this one, the little breathe option. It's always a nice one on here just to kind of get this going. And that's kind of funky. All right. But feel free to do anything you'd like to on here. All right. And now I've got that added on, we're good to go. I can see this on here, so if I want to, I can even make it a little bit longer on here if I prefer. So maybe I want to make it 10 seconds instead of 5. All I did was put my cursor down here. And if you notice, it's got the little arrows going left and right. I can drag this left or right to make it longer or smaller, or shorter, I shouldn't say smaller. Or up here, I can also click on edit timing. I can change this as well too. All right, and once again, if I want to go through, change this out. Well, under brand, we can find the KW specific logos. Under Keller Williams, we can always find our specific logo under our profile. All right, once again, I always have an issue changing this out on here for some reason, so I'm just going to click on this, either click the trash icon or delete this. I can add this in as well too. All right. So a great question just came in on here. So what's the length time limit on Reels on Instagram? So technically it's up to 3 minutes. In most cases, shorter ones, from about 7 to 15 seconds are usually what people will suggest, maybe 30 seconds to 60 seconds or so. I usually suggest the shorter the better. Attention span is not what it used to be. So the shorter the better is always a better option on here. I don't know how many people are going to sit through a 3-minute long reel or anything of that sort. There you go. All right. And once again, to add that KW app to the Canva bar, make sure that you go under apps on here, search for KW, add that in, and then it'll automatically pop up down here as one of those apps for you to use. There you go. All right, so now I've got this added in, and then I can click this little share icon. And once again, I can even click on Instagram so that I can immediately post from the mobile app. I can schedule posts from my desktop. So I can link up Instagram on here to get that going right away. And if I click see all, it's going to give me plenty of different options on here that I can actually go through and sync, whether it's going on social on here. Maybe I also want to use this as, geez, in this case, a Facebook ad or anything, not ad, sorry, a Facebook reel as well too. I can send this off as a Facebook Messenger option or in WhatsApp. All right. But once again, in here, maybe I just want to go through instead of publishing, and I just want to download this as well, and I want to use this later. So I can get my MP4 video that I can access right away. All right, and on here, it's got the quality. I can go as high as possible, all the way up to 4K for larger screens. 1080p is more than likely going to be good. 720 for social media. If you need to make it a little bit smaller, I wouldn't go down to 480. I would probably just keep it at 1080p. All right, and then once I click that download option, that'll add this in right away. And if the KW app has not auto added on here, I would double check going back through the app section and try searching for that one more time to see if you can click on it for it to auto add. It should display down here, and then that way you can actually move these around too if you ever want to adjust them. All right, but now I can click that download option. And then as you can see, it's downloading right away. And if you ever want to change this, all right, change the name of this. At the top, we can always go through and say, hey, I'm going to put this as testimonial reel. And I'll do 10/28. So we have this, or maybe I'll do -John Smith. That way it makes it easier for me to find it. All right, so now it's going through. Hey, once we add this in, awesome. I can then change this name on here. So right now it says copy of white box client testimonial Instagram story. So I want to say Instagram story, and I'll put John Smith testimonials. So I can get that posted out right away once I sign into Instagram. And there we go. All right. Now, the final thing I want to do on here before we end the class is under the templates section. So once again, I just did this one. I downloaded it. I just wanted to show you all how simple it is to get this going and to save a reel on here. That is not going to be a listing or anything of that sort. But once again, under home, this is going to display right away as one of my recent items on here. I can once again go through and star that like we did before. I can move it over to projects. Remember, for the project section, I can then click this plus sign up here to add inside a new folder if I want to. So I can start to organize everything. All right, but under templates on here, I just want to talk about how you can search for certain things. So as you can see, it's starting to learn based on what I'm looking for. So it started to add inside, hey, here's some additional reels that I might want to take a look at. Or previously, I was looking at some brand kit options. So even though you do not have the ability to make your own brand kit, you could create a brand kit page on here, for instance. So if I search under templates and I search for brand kit, then under Canva, I can find different brand kit options. So even though we aren't allowed or aren't currently accessible to have a brand kit section under brand where you can add inside your own colors, your own fonts, anything like that, you can always utilize one of these to adjust it as well too. So if I want to take advantage of this brand kit and say, hey, yes, I use the KW red, black, white, grayscale colors, but I also use different colors as well too. You can use one of these mood boards or brand kit boards, however you want to consider it, and then save this under your documents as well too. So you can access that very quickly to find the actual color codes you want to use. All right, so I just wanted to highlight one opportunity that you can have on here to get this rocking and rolling right away. Because then I can go through and say, hey, let's customize this template. And this is just by going under templates and searching for brand kit. You can use any of them. But then this way I can say, well, hey, let's ungroup this. So if you ever see that you can't do anything, or when you try to move it around, it moves everything, just look for that ungroup button since this is currently grouped together. All right, now as you can see, it's unlocked on here. Everything's good to go. And then I can actually see my color in this case. So if I click on color, I can then go through and I can say, hey, well, here's some of the photo colors that are showing on here from this little mood board. Here's some default solid colors, your gradient colors. So I can then go through and say, well, hey, let's add a new color on here. And maybe this is my color. Well, now I've got this color on here. I can say, well, it's F40000. So I'm going to change this down here so I know what that hex color code is. All right, so even though we can't go through and create a section under the brand kit section quite yet, you can at least save a page like this for your brand kit as well too. All right, you can go through and change out the fonts on here as well too. So this is currently at Montserrat, but maybe instead of that, I am using, I feel like I'm going to butcher some of these names on here. So I'm using Alike. Let's go with that one. I can't butcher that one. All right. So I can add inside that font name, and then I can even go through and change this on here as well too. All right, or maybe my second one that I'm using is Alta. And once again, I can go through and change all these. So this way, if you want to go through and add inside your own brand information and save this, you're more than welcome to on here. And maybe instead of saying main logo, I want to put SLM brand kit. So that way I can just access this quickly, or if I'm ever sharing this with someone and they're like, hey, what are your color codes, or what fonts are you using on here? I can add this in right away. And then if I have specific mood board items, if I say like, hey, this is what I typically will utilize on it, well, then I can add inside some of those images as well too. All right. So just a quick little way on here. So I can actually say, hey, this is the SLM mood board. All right. And once again, to change this out, I just clicked on the color, selected the color at the top, and then went through and said, hey, well, let's find that actual color code on here. So maybe it was a green that I had instead for this one, and it's 4D823D. All right, well, now I've got that color changed, and I can add this in on here as well, too. All right, so completely up to you to adjust this. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to just put them inside that chat section on there, so I can help to answer as many as possible on here. All right, but once we add inside this, if you do want to save this mood board or anything of that sort, so you can come back and access this even quicker for your own color scheme, for instance, or your own text codes or anything like that. Or I said, you should say fonts. All right, that'll all be accessible on here. So I'm just going to add inside one more on here to show you how to do it. And we're good to go. All right, but once again, if I am completed with this and I go back, this will display under the home. All right, and then if you want to keep everything organized on here, you can always go through and star it once again. All right, or under the three dots, I can move this as well too and put this under whatever folder I prefer. So I want to put this under SL and collateral. And there we go. All right. So the final thing I just wanted to show you all on here today is something just kind of fun, is that under the template section on here, obviously under brand, you're going to have all the different KW brands that you can utilize. But under templates, this is up to your imagination of what you're looking for. So if you're looking for testimonials, for instance, you're like, hey, I want some different testimonial options. We can go through here and say, well, hey, here's a testimonial that I might want to utilize that looks like it might be meant more for a reel or a story on here. Or here's one that I might want to utilize that might be meant more for an Instagram post or a Facebook post or anything of that sort. So you can go through and start to tweak this and find all these different pieces. Now, the reason I wanted to highlight this for you is because at the end of the day, all these templates are available for you to use for free. So if you see this enterprise logo on here, this crown icon, that means that you can utilize this right away. All right, with the Pro or the Enterprise plan, you're going to have access to all of these immediately. All right, so if you happen to have more than one testimonial that you want to include, maybe you want to go through and use this testimonial that I'm seeing right away. And you can also do this for anything, even if it is, hey, I'm doing an open house and you want to find other open house pieces that are available. These are non-KW specific open house pieces that you can then go through and make your own. All right, I can say that I'm doing a Thanksgiving event. All right, and now it's going to show all these different Thanksgiving pieces that we can go through and create. So even if I want to do something simple on here, like where it says Happy Thanksgiving, for instance, I can then go through, right? And I can edit this if I want to by clicking on it, or if I'm okay with what it looks like, I can always click the little three dots on here. I can go through and customize it, or I can utilize this even further. All right, and if I want to, I can then come on here and say, hey, let's start to edit this a little bit. So now we've got a flyer on here. I'm not really going to do much with it on the print side, but I can then say, let's customize this template. And then that way, if I want to, I can go through and download this and post this out over on social media, or I can even send this out as a smart plan as well, too. All right, so that's all accessible. So the reason I just wanted to show you what is available on here under the Canva template section is not only can you view items that KW has created under brand templates or any of that sort, all right, but then I can also come on here and search under the template section for anything and everything. So once again, if I am looking for a testimonial one on here, and I say, hey, I really like this testimonial, or maybe I like this one because it actually has a home in the background, then I can go through and customize this right away. And this is going to allow me to adjust this immediately. All right, and it already has this, on here of this little, basically, iPhone-esque phone that I can utilize. I can go through, I can add inside different images on here if I want to. So if I want to do a testimonial, I want to have inside here, their particular property that they purchased or anything of that sort. Or maybe I have a picture of them on here that I want to use. I can drag that over to utilize this immediately. So if I go back to that one that I was using on here, I can drag this over, and if you see, it changes inside here right away and automatically fits inside this immediately. All right, so some great opportunities that are available for you to take advantage of, and you can go through and change any of this information and adjust anything and everything. All right, so that's going to be it for our Canva 201 class on here. All right, so in the 201 class, we talked about just some of the basics again, just to walk through everything. We talked about what you're seeing on the home page, how to access projects, templates, the KW brand side, Canva AI, some different apps that are accessible. We talked about how to make the postcard on here and how you can download that and upload that over to Command, and how you can send that out as a campaign if you'd like to. We talked about making a testimonial reel, how you can expand it, add inside some different effects or motion on there. All right, we talked about how you can add inside some of your own brand information if you want to, since there's not a brand kit section quite yet, how you can bypass that, how you can find other templates that are available as well too. All right, and then even under Canva AI, how you can make different images on here as well. And of course, once again, under Canva AI, it's not just image-based. You can also do stuff on content. You can do stuff on designs. All right, you can write items like we're talking about content, obviously. You can make images. And for the video side, for the AI, it's only 5 per month that you can utilize. So make sure you use those on specific items you want done. All right, so there you go. So that is going to be it for the Canva Tool 1 class today. All right, so there's a lot more that we can get into. So we're going to be having more Canva courses very, very soon. Hopefully this will at least get your mind going and your imagination started on what you can and can't do on Canva and how you can have some fun with it. All right, if y'all do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. That is what we're here for, hopefully to help you out even more on all this. And I hope y'all have a fantastic day. And more importantly, enjoy the rest of the week and happy Halloween. And this class was recorded, so it will be accessible later on today on scottleroymarketing.com under Agent Resources, Recorded Trainings, Canva, or youtube.com/scottleroymarketing. All right, have a fantastic day, and I'll see y'all very soon.